Welcome to Throwforward Thursdays, where we have a look at something that might happen in the future. I'm sure you know that most Thursdays we are really upbeat and optimistic. We love the future and we love the possibilities that are emerging. But today I want to tell you something that scares me, and it might scare you. It's solar flares. Now, every moment of the day, the sun is giving off amazing warmth and energy and light, and obviously a huge feature in our world. But along with that, every now and again, the sun lets off a massive burst of high energy radiation in what is called a solar flare. And shooting out into the space, this beam of radiation goes. Now, every now and again, one of those passes through the Earth. And it can be, we can experience it, although we don't normally feel it, we can experience it as sort of an extra hot day, or, the sun's a little bit bright today. And there's lots of reasons that happens, not just solar flares. But the radiation that can come from the sun can, if the solar flare is big enough, cause an electromagnetic pulse. And if you know anything about computers, you'll know that magnets and massive amounts of electricity are not good for computers. Too much electricity, too much voltage through a system will fry the computer, cause it to overheat and to literally melt down, and then everything on that computer is done for. And magnetism is really bad for any electronic devices because it rearranges the electrons in the system. I'm not speaking as a scientist here, but it rearranges the electrons, and that can basically cause hard drives to be scrambled, and the coding in a computer to be completely, basically rewritten, scrambled, and made useless. So here's the thing I'm scared about. What happens if we have a really big, significant solar flare and basically all the world's computers are wiped out? Imagine you wake up and every computing device is not working. I mean, this is every electronic and digital device in your home just no longer works. You're not going to get water or electricity. You're not going to, the phone system is not going to work. The internet will be down. The banks, imagine every bank account gets put back to zero. Some of you are in overdraft, so that's not a problem. The list of things can go on. Now, it's not as scary as that in reality, because a lot of people have been thinking about this. A lot of computers have been shielded from electromagnetic pulses and solar flares, and a lot of our actual physical infrastructure is more robust than that. But this is a significant danger and a significant problem if it happens. Is there anything we can do about it? Well, probably not. And unfortunately, the sun has a cycle of activity that sort of builds up over time. And scientists are still trying to work out exactly how this cycle works. But apparently, we are due for a big one soon. Just like San Francisco is waiting for their big earthquake, which is a few years overdue. We apparently are waiting for a fairly significant solar flare, and it's overdue. I don't want to scare you, but our world is fragile. It's fragile in many ways. The physical ecosystem is fragile. The waterways of our world are fragile. The weather system, we're beginning to realize, is more fragile than we initially thought. And the things we've built are fragile too, especially our digital world. Is there anything to do about this? Probably not, except to just realize that there are potential things in the future that could change everything, change life as we know it. And as much as I try to be optimistic every week, every now and again I'm going to throw in one of these. I don't mean to scare you, but we need to be thinking that the future is fragile and could go wrong. Happy Thursday! I hope you enjoyed the few minutes with us in the Throwforward Thursday studio. As always, don't forget that we now have the opportunity for you to contribute by asking us questions or giving us ideas for future episodes. Just go to askaboutthefuture.com. All one word, askaboutthefuture.com. And you'll see it's very easy to just leave your question about the future or your suggestion for a future episode. As always, sign up if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit the notification bell to remind you every Thursday that we have another episode. Next week's a whole lot of fun. We're talking about robot lawyers. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure that you subscribe to Graeme Codrington's Future of Work podcast. We'd love to have you along on that platform as well. Otherwise, I'll see you next Thursday for another trip into the future.